is this shit gonna pay off? I've been slaving away with no day off. I'm praying with patience like sand. So I came for the piss, I love pray, I love bro. I take off no day off, I stay on my case, I break base and I pay about no pay like a goat. I play off so great, I'll do fictional hoe. I'm playing the game till I shade on my phones. Industry politic, you miss me, I know that bitch is the top is sitting. Yes, I lock in the minute, I wanna miss you. 3, 5, 4 from giant wishes with a pot to piss and there's some hot decisions on the way. I'm fucking your hoe, yeah, she asked for that favor. She get after you, stick with no player. Go harder, 2 tails, how to pay stuff. They calling me Beast Boy, they rave about me, GT on the town now. I'm a star on fire with the shit. I'm having the show in the limelight. They calling me the GOAT, and I don't even know it. Wanna be Twitch in my life, I scream for the shit so sweet like a soda. I float in this bitch. White girl knows you gotta coke in a sniff. Light up a spiff, that's the whole fucking shit. Looking for me cause they know that I'm this guy. In this bitch, white girl knows you gotta coke in a sniff. Light up a spiff, that's the whole fucking shit. Looking for me cause they know that I'm this guy. When is this shit gonna pay off? I've been slaving away with no day off. I'm praying with patience like sand. So I came for the piss, I love pray, I love bro. I take off no day off, I stay on my case, I break base and I pay about no pay like a goat. I play off so great, I'll do fictional hoe. I'm playing the game till I shade on my phones. Industry politic, you miss me, I know that bitch is the top is sitting. Yes, I lock in the minute, I wanna miss you. 3, 5, 4 from giant wishes with a pot to piss and there's some hot decisions on the way. I'm fucking your hoe, yeah, she asked for that favor. She get after you, stick with no player. Go harder, 2 tails,
what I did, what I did, what's in that song, what I did, what's in go talk, what I did, what's in go talk, what I did, better money did, what okay, better money did, what I did fly, only did, what 10 on the kid, what can I do, what can I do, what can I this, Canada, what can I be, Canada, what can I hiss, can I slap, try this, yeah, slap. This my kind of be colors. I do work and she follows. I go tell her come up from the motor. I don't go to get the auto. I mean for the big body bands. I they come up from my body of bands. Said that you wanna be friends. I they come up from the friends. I they come up from the train. Okay. I they walk over the gutter. Okay. Better money no be butter. Good body sabi no be butter. Better money they shine for your eye. No be not how they want in my life. Better money no be right. See better money no be right. What I did, what I did, what's in that song, what I did, what's in go talk, what I did, what's in go talk, what I did, better money did, what okay, better money did, what I did fly, only did, what 10 on the kid, what can I do, what can I do, what can I this, Canada, what can I be, Canada, what can I hiss, can I slap, try this, yeah, slap. What I did, what I did, what's in that song, what I did, what's in go talk, what I did, what's in go talk, what I did, better money did, what okay, better money did, what I did fly, only did, what 10 on the kid, what can I do, what can I do, what Canada, can I this, Canada, can I this, Canada, can I hiss, can I slap, try this, yeah, slap.
I've been so good. Life been so good lately. Life been so good. I've been so good that I think I forgot where I came from. I've been looking, I need a patient. I'm paving the way, I'm the great one. I was made to cut off from the rest. I've cut like the hole in my vest. I can't say the same, so I left. So say they hate me. Others, they say I'm the best. They been so cold to me. They left me like daddy and groceries. They hear the boy on that CD. They seeing that boy on that TV. I be passing girl like it's easy. But walking this bitch and I'm parking the place. I got ice on the wrist, they believe me. I don't see my own mistakes. Just here, I've been needed to pray. I've been needed to pray. I've been needed to pray. Wait. I've been needed to pray. I've been needing to pray lately. I don't need all that pain lately. I've been living there right now. That moments I know I'm alone, so I don't do those things I've been saying. And I know I'm the one who will go. And I know if I keep going hard, and I'll get all those homies to co-sign. This is sure the one that make go mine. And I thought that I like till I go blind. And I've been getting good like a slow ride. Yeah, I cannot give up if I don't try.
I cannot give up. I'm at the top, so I don't give a fuck. I've been laying these bricks. I've been through all the mud and I do not respect, but I give all my love to my day ones. You can shoot for that shit if you play fun, but I bought it this bitch like a ray gun. I didn't look at me once and got taken. Life is so good and I think I forgot where I came from.
All these blessings, forgot the life without flavor, without no dressing. These husbands undressing, they sound like messy. Clean freak and she wanna get messy. I drive, I don't need no Tessie. Couldn't come where my city from. So bright, need a mason. You know we been lit, so they give me love. I've been so good that I think I forgot where I came from. I've been looking, I need a patient. I'm paving the way, I'm the gray one. I was made to cut off from the rest. I've cut like the hole in my vest. I can't say the same, so I left. So say they hate me. Others, they say I'm the best. They been so cold to me. They left me like Eddie at groceries. They hear the boy on that CD. They see that boy on that TV. I be passing girl like it's easy. But walking this bitch and I'm pocket their place. I got eyes on the wrist, they believe me. I don't see my own mistakes. Just here I've been needed to pray.
Oh shit, that's a damn G.
Oh yeah, swagger, swagger. Bitch, I'm still proper. In the kitchen, watch me whip it like I'm Betty Crocker. Suck my Richard, bitch, I'm richer than your freaking father. Fuck that bitch and then I ditch her, cause that bitch a bopper. Proper, bitch, I'm still proper. I fuck white whores and black whores like Summer Walker. I serve white 8 balls just like I'm playing soccer. If I'm in it, it ain't rented, you know that I bought it. So much money, they thought that I was Illuminati. Smoking exotics, serving narcotics out my Maserati. And I brought my pocket rocket to the fucking party. Bitch, I'm feeling just like Ken, fucking on a Barbie. College bitch, give me head, she's a real smarty. I make way too many plays, so I'm always tardy. I smoke way too many J's, now I feel retarded. Swagger, bitch, I'm still proper. In the kitchen, watch me whip it like I'm Betty Crocker. Suck my Richard, bitch, I'm richer than your freaking father. Fuck that bitch and then I ditch her, cause that bitch a bopper. Proper, bitch, I'm still proper. I fuck white whores and black whores like Summer Walker. I serve white 8 balls just like I'm playing soccer.
Yo. Wait 1 second. Welcome to Disagreeable. I am disagreeable. We are disagreeable. And this is another one. You feel me? We're just going to kick it for a minute. If anybody passes through, that's cool. If they don't pass through, that might be even better. All right? I'm gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna wait for anybody because I'll shout out the channel once I pull it up. I'll shout out the channel, but where are they at? Where are they at? There we go. Oh yeah, the channel used to have a different name. All right, let's get this up here. The channel used to have a different name, but I'll shout this one out nonetheless. You feel me? Right now they're going by Bleeding Alone. If you can see, that's the handle right there, HXXVXNLY. All right, and they have a very thorough, concise collection of quote unquote conspiracy materials that most of them have been proven. And they have a very nice Tracy Twyman archive. Tracy Twyman archive. So let's get right into it. If somebody pulls up and let me go back in the video, I'll do that.
There was no place for me to return to. This was the only place I could go. And now you're leaving just like that. Why did I go?
I mean, the whole thing is totally insane. And so, I mean, I agree with you that more and more things are fake. But also, people are seeing through the fakeness of it more and more. Yeah. And, you know, the people are getting caught doing it more and more. It's just that it kind of doesn't matter because the power of the people running this matrix at this point is so great. And yeah, it's almost like it's very much like 1984, right? Where it's like it's in your face, but the pressure is on you to conform to the fake reality anyway.
Yeah.
You have to lie to yourself, or else not only will you get in trouble, but then just the pain of having to live with this situation. You know, it's like you have to develop Stockholm syndrome and just go along with it in order to get through your day, because they're throwing it in your face. Like right now, we're going to go to war against the Syrian government with Al-Qaeda rebels, and we're supposed to pretend like that's normal. Like that, like we're not still already in wars against Al-Qaeda right now, and we're supposed to also, go to battle with them.
Humbling down. We want to bring in Mark Walsh, who's a freelancer for Fox. You live just a few blocks away and witnessed.
Dude, I live on the 43rd floor of a building, which is 5 blocks from the World Trade Center itself. I witnessed the entire thing from beginning to end.
People look at this nonsense. You know, I might do a whole show where we just go back and look at old television and how bullshit it was. You feel me? How fake it was, how much it was programming, and how they weren't even trying, because people believed that if something came from the news or from the television, it was real. So you can have the highest level of fakeness on the news. I forgot what year it was, just like there was a so-called war correspondent on some news station, like back in I don't think it was the late 80s, maybe early 90s. Was this Desert Storm time? Where they were on a fucking set in the studio with fake trees and all the just total nonsense. And he was acting like he was in Iraq or some shit, reporting wherever Desert Storm was.
Talk about how it looked like a movie. I know when I came walking down here early this morning and saw both towers on fire and people on every street corner, it was like a movie. But you watched the planes hit the towers.
I was watching with my roommate. It was approximately several minutes after the first plane had hit. I saw this plane come out of nowhere and just ream right into the side of the Twin Tower, exploding through the other side. And then I witnessed both towers collapse, one first and then the second, mostly due to structural failure because the fire was just too intense.
Happening, and they were right at ground zero when it all went down. So can we talk to you? What's your role out here right now?
Just standing by right now. Can't say what role I'm playing right now.
Well,
we must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers.
You must help save Israel! We must help save Israel! We must help save Israel! We must help save Israel!
Thank you. Now watch this drive. All right, you need another.
I have a sneaking suspicion that my last live I did shitting on retarded Muslims has gotten me super shadow banned. Because you know when they keep hitting you and flagging you and complaining, even if they don't give you a strike or anything, it'll push you down in the algorithm. And you religious psychos are such idiots and crybabies that I know that's the exact type of people who are going to be like, oh, in the name of Allah, Allah Akbar, flag, report in the name of Allah. Fucking idiots.
And even if you look at the Genesis story itself in the Bible, there's like hints about it, basically, that the Garden of Eden was kind of this petri dish where these people were grown, to serve some sort of purpose for the beings that existed on the outside of it, and they talk about how Adam and Eve were there to till the garden, basically that their existence had some sort of output that was being used as food by someone else, I would say. And that's kind of the idea that's alluded to in some of the Gnostic scriptures. And then you saw that in The Matrix and even in Dark City, that movie, where in that movie they're on a spaceship basically, but people don't know that their world is actually a spaceship. And someone else is manipulating reality from the outside, and they're feeding off of their emotions and things like that, putting them in different situations to create, emotional reactions, basically. And so I think that's similar. What they're describing there in Dark City, similar to in The Matrix, how you have the machines.
Let me go right back to it. What we're seeing on the screen right now is known as liquid crystal ionization, I believe, or liquid crystal mass. If you haven't looked into it, it's very interesting. And I point, before I was even aware of this phenomenon, I remember mad years ago, I pointed this out to people. They just like, it's weird living in a world where people just don't notice shit. They just don't notice anything at all. It's kind of odd. But I remember pointing this out years ago, watching television, especially the news. And I'm like, how come only the people are glitching out? How come only the person on the screen is glitching out? And I'd even try to rationalize it to myself, like, oh, maybe because it's a technicality and because the person is moving and everything else is not moving. But then you see it move across other parts of the screen, and it was giving this odd effect. And if you know, and when I was really noticing this heavily is when Obama came out and told everybody they had to switch over to digital television. And as we know, the government gives you nothing for your benefit. They're going to give you nothing free for your benefit. You feel me? Oh, we need you to switch to digital television. For what? Because this was the issue they were having. The liquid crystal mass was slipping. And if you, I should do a whole presentation on this because it is very interesting. I could probably go on like BitChute and like the more underground platforms and find some really interesting parts, you know? But let's let me ride. And while I'm letting this play, I might even see if I can find a clip about this. Maybe they have some new information about it.
I think that's similar, what they're describing there in Dark City, similar to in the Matrix, how you have the machines on the outside feeding off of the electrical impulses basically created by the people going through the imaginary scenarios in their dream world. And what the Gnostic scriptures seem to be alluding to is that there are beings that are kind of vampiric in nature that created the reality that we're in now and put us inside of it, so that we would create these emotions that they would feed off of. And it seems to be, you know, more geared towards creating negative emotions, I would say. And that those are the sorts of energies that these beings like to feed off of. I think time is one of the...
It seems like I found a cool little clip, so we might take a little divergence over there. Or not divergence, I guess divergence more is one thing against the other. Kind of like when, like, I'm used to saying divergence because I'm looking at a price chart. But we're gonna divert our attention over here for a second, and we will. I don't think people have even looked at it or considered what I'm talking about. If you're old enough to remember, and you don't got to be old as dirt, but you got to be old as hell. You feel me? If you remember seeing weird things on the news, like the people would glitch out, their faces would glitch out and slowly change. And if you look at this weird thing, you can see the entity behind it, you know? But let me pull this up. One second. One second, I got you. 1 second. Let's share this tab instead. Boom. Let's go here, because it seems like somebody put together like a nice little presentation, and I want you guys to understand. And shout out to the channel. I'll shout it out again before I finish. Bleeding Alone in his little archive. He has a dope archive on his channel, and he didn't even mention what this phenomenon is in the video. He just put it together in his edit or mixtape or whatever you like to call it. You know. So we will expound upon that.
Reptilians use liquid crystal masks. These liquid crystal masks sometimes an error. And we have the last year so many examples, many celebrities and so on. And on the end we need to come to the conclusion there is an alien civilization that tried to fool us. And it is little bit time that humans know what is the technology what they use, how they use it, and how we can hack the system. The biggest question that we need to ask, why we have these errors of these glitches in their masks. You need to know and to understand that the reptilians on our planet use advanced nanotechnology masks. The skin of the reptilian mask is supposed to combine advanced technology and biotechnology to mimic the structure of the skin, texture of their mask, elastic, eyeing the process of a human skin. There are 5 important elements from their mask. And the first one is the biomimetic nanomaterials for the skin structure. The second one, the skin function. Third one is the elastic nanomaterials for aging effect. The fourth one is the dynamic skin pigmentation from the colors. And the last one, self-regeneration recovering capacity. They are the 5 important elements what the mask have. And the materials of the mask is liquid crystals. And these liquid crystals we see sometimes in different videos that the skin begin to change, or we have little...
Now this is a shitty clip, and I don't like when they use these shitty clips, but it's crazy how if you look into these war clips and any modern evidence, even the Julie Epstein stuff, I'm like, yo, it's 2026. Why are people even getting hyped or even considering this grainy material? You feel me? But that's neither here nor there at the moment. If you look into your memory, if you're not a total automaton clown, you will remember at some point in your life you were watching television and you saw this weird phenomenon happen. And you probably dismissed it as a glitch or an error or this or that. No.
Blocks around the skin of little liquids that we see in the skin. This is on the moment when we have a glitch of an error in their mask. It can happen by temperature, can happen by light, can happen that the generation process of the mask.
I don't know if he's gonna mention it, but I was researching stuff way back in the days, mad years ago, and I forgot who it was, but he pointed out that when they become angry or agitated, it's way more difficult for them to hold this form. You feel me? And if you watch when this phenomenon happens, you feel me, and you see what's happening when the phenomenon happens, it will be when this person is getting irritated.
Mask have an effect. Sometimes we have even the eyes that change, the skin that change, or even the teeth that change. We have a lot of videos where we see that the teeth change in real reptilian teeth. And sometimes also by emotion. Because on the moment when they have an erection or when they are in an ecstasy, that the skin mask fail on that moment. Because you need to understand this mask that they have is connected to the original skin of the reptilians. So that means that the reptilian body undergoes a significant psychological change and affected even the performance of the mask. The most advanced mask is likely operated via complex electronic control systems. They use precision to manipulate the liquid crystals. It's even on some moments that we have with celebrities or singers that their face change total. Then take even a new form of, you see on one moment that on one piece something become bigger, of even the shape of the skull even change. Even the eyes of the mask is based on a nanotechnology,
Look at that, yo.
technology. I mean, if they use
and that's some of my favorite evidence to be captured, because it's somebody in their house. It's somebody in their house recording the television of something that they just happened to catch. You feel me? They weren't trying to put together a presentation for you. Like, I might play it from my phone. Shit, I only got this broke ass phone here with me. Yeah, I'm only logged into my IG on this phone, not on my new phone. Actually, I might try to find a clip for you. Hold on, let me let this play.
With crystal mask, we can even hack the system. Electromagnetic interference and hacking that we can do. Is that the mask operate on electronic signals and AI-driven controls? It's possible. Electromagnetic interferences cause a temporary glitch in the mask. Can do by strong magnetic fields, power lines, certainly radio frequency, strong electronic magnetic pulses like EMP. This can cause a temporary fall down from the mask and bring a glitch in the mask. And on that moment, we see true reptilian features that become visible before that the system recovers. So that means that we can do hacking or digital manipulation from the mask. If someone tries to hack the system of the mask or manipulate signals, for example, a device simulate a false biometric response, mask may display an error of a glitch in the mask and will bring the reptilian back to his origin form.
But I am telling you right.
This woman yelling about "I'm telling you" or whatever. I don't trust her. I don't trust her. This was like I think she was involved in another incident, and when they start using these characters across multiple incidents, like you can't trust these people. You feel me? But homie right here did give some good information. But his accent was a bit annoying. You feel me? His accent was a bit annoying. Let's see if we got a. Should I just go back to the Tracy Twyman? Hold up. Yeah, let's go right here. Welcoming Wavy to the show. Let's get a mic check for Wavy.
Yo, what's good? What's good? I'm coming through clear.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm talking clearly, not smearly. Do you hear me?
You're talking clearly, and we talking sincerely.
Bars. You know what I'm saying? What's good?
I'm just chilling. I wanted to review this edit that this channel that I like made, because I've watched it a few times and it's pretty excellent. Actually, I might pull it back since you pulled up. I might pull it back since you pulled up. Yeah. Give me a second. Let me share this tab instead. Boom. And I don't know, after I did that show before, if you ever saw it, when I did the show about speaking about Tracy Twyman, which I was a bit judgmental. You feel me? Because I'm the person in the world where when everybody becomes kind of hyped around somebody and they start venerating them in a way, I'm gonna see where there's holes in their logic, you know. And let me not say, I was saying that she was an evil bitch, and she might not have been as evil as I believe. She might just be as evil as we all are, or as white people are. You feel me? Magical Family says, "Yo, what's good? Aren't you supposed to be on an airplane? Are you supposed to be in wherever the hell you're going, Europe, Asia? You know, this guy's always all around the world, wearing cool clothes, being in goddamn spas and shit. You feel me? But yeah, if you have some time between your red-eye flights that you're catching around the earth, comment on this video a bit. So yeah, let me finish what I was saying. Oh yeah, Wavy, did you ever do any research or look into Tracy Twyman at all?
No, I'm not familiar with the name.
All right, so maybe you didn't see the show I was talking about. Well, short background about Tracy Twyman. She was a author, but she was a deep occult researcher, and she in her fictional novels or whatever, she added a lot of real information into these novels, you know, and she would have like the characters representing people and she keep the names off of them. But she was so deep into it that she was getting issues even with still hiding the names, meaning like people were kind of coming at her. And she was an occult researcher, and she was a very objective occult researcher, meaning like she didn't really have any belief on anything. So if somebody said something about something, she would just see what it do. You understand what I'm saying? So see, I guess her highest claim to fame is her working with the Ouija board and her book Genuflect, along with Clock Shavings, which was her conversations with Baphomet. And through these conversations with who she claimed to have with Baphomet, Cain, some other entities, she did weird things. She even started a cult where they were kind of like venerating Baphomet and doing weird shit. And the way she comes across, you wouldn't think that it's odd. She seems, I can't put my finger on it. She's such an odd person that I don't know how to describe her. You know? Hold on a second. We have Magical Family. I'm on the plane right now. Last hour with a flight to Paris, on my way to Italy. Well,
niggas in Paris. You feel me? Boss so hard, motherfuckers gonna find me.
Bonjour, my nigga. You know what I mean? But yeah, so maybe so enjoy the show. Enjoy the show from the chat. If I don't know, are you aware of Tracy Twyman? Because I know Halo knows. Magical Family knows all types of weird things. You feel me? So when I'm into some weird shit, he probably would already have an understanding of it. But Tracy Twyman was her views on just about everything were very on point. Everything that was happening now, she's basically spoke about it already. Now, how did Tracy Twyman die? Well, supposedly, and this gets deep, and there's evidence behind all this. Supposedly, she was exposing, because she was really nice with the research and making these connections. She was exposing some trafficking rings up in her area or something like that, and she was being warned not to do it. And she was talking about shit years ago that people talk about now in terms of technology. Before people were talking about it, she was talking about how her phone was being taken over and how her internet was being edited in real time to make her go crazy. You feel me? Like, it's hard to explain. If you're interested in it, maybe I'll give you some information on that. But it's very interesting. She talks about being stalked and blah blah blah. Long story short, she was told to stop looking into this group. She didn't, because she doesn't really give a shit like that. She was obviously scared when you hear her talk, but she was like, she just do what she do. Have you ever heard of Higher Side Chats? The Higher Side Chats with Greg Carlisle?
Nah, man. I'm gonna be real, nah.
The Higher Side Chats has been around forever, talking about occult, spiritual information, all types of fringe sciences and things like that. And she was on the Higher Side Chat. She has very interesting shows on there. Greg Carlisle's friends from the Higher Side Chat, or THC, became friends with her, and he was helping her research these cults or trafficking rings or whatever. This is what happened to Tracy Twyman. Tracy Twyman, and she made it clear that she would never do this. She was found hung in her garage. You feel me? She was found hung in her garage, and the other guy that was Greg's friend, and Greg's scared to talk about this these days if you hear him talk about it. His friend who was researching it with him just went crazy and ended up in the psychic ward. He's still there now. You know?
That's crazy.
Simultaneously at the same time.
Yeah, what are the odds of that, right?
Yes. So that's a little background on Tracy Twyman. And the reason I was calling her evil is because she did some weird shit. Like, okay, there's white people evil. Well, she did the cult of Baphomet, and she was getting people to join the cult, which I'm like, you're being manipulated by the demon. It's obvious. She's getting people to write her oaths or whatever with their blood on the paper and shit like that. You feel me? So she's building this cult, and at the same time, I don't want to lose my train of thought. So she's building this cult, and at the same time, Baphomet's telling her to do certain things, and she got to the point where I'm telling you, this is how objective she is. She goes so far into the weird shit, and then she just decides one day, like, I'm not doing it anymore.
That means you went too far.
And that's not how it works. You feel me? And the reason I was calling her evil and going against her is because I was just being a contrarian. You know, people were venerating her, and she said in her own words that she did a blood ritual to try to do something negative to somebody. Like somebody fucked her over for some money or something like that. And I'm like, yo, you working with the devil to get people killed? Like you're evil. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I understand beef. Rest in peace, Tracy. But I think I rambled on enough. I think I rambled on enough. You want to add anything before I play this?
Nah, bro, play the clip, bro.
Let's go. Just holler if you want me to stop it.
There was no place for me to return to. This was the only place I could go. And now you're leaving, just like that. Why not go? Where are you going?
I mean, the whole thing is totally insane. And so, I mean, I agree with you that more and more things are fake. But also, people are seeing through the fakeness of it more and more. Yeah. And, the people are getting caught doing it more and more. It's just that it kind of doesn't matter because the power of the people running this matrix at this point is so great. And yeah, it's almost like it's very much like 1984, right? Where it's like it's in your face, but the pressure is on you to conform to the fake reality anyway. You have to lie to yourself, or else not only will you get in trouble, but then just the pain of having to live with this situation. It's like you have to develop Stockholm syndrome and just go along with it in order to get through your day because they're throwing it in your face like right now we're going to go to war against the Syrian government
Right.
with Al Qaeda rebels, and we're supposed to pretend like that's normal, like that, like we're not still already in wars against Al Qaeda right now, and we're supposed to also, go to battle with them.
Tumbling down. We want to bring in Mark Walsh, who's a freelancer for Fox. You live just a few blocks away and witnessed.
Dude, I live on the 43rd floor of a building, which is 5 blocks from the World Trade Center itself. I witnessed the entire thing from beginning to end.
People talk about how it looked like a movie. I know when I came walking down here early this morning and saw both towers on fire and people on every street corner, it was like a movie, but you watched the planes hit the towers.
I was watching with my roommate. It was approximately several minutes after the first plane had hit. I saw this plane come out of nowhere and just ream right into the side of the Twin Tower, exploding through the other side. And then I witnessed both towers collapse, one first and then the second, mostly due to structural failure because the fire was just too intense.
And
think about how that was really on TV. How this fake bad acting programming was on TV. You feel me?
And they were right at ground zero when it all went down. So can we talk to you? What's your role out here right now?
I'm just standing by right now. Can't say what role I'm playing right now.
Well,
what's your role out here tonight? I'm just standing around. I don't know what my role is yet. I'm just standing by. Interesting.
I'll just add one thing, right? This is kind of like this is like I guess it's kind of obvious, but like back then, there was a truther community, but it was mostly within books and literature. The internet was not, this is like Web 1.0 or whatever. So there wasn't communities on the internet at this point, at least from as far as I understand. But the concept of crisis actors was probably not as well. It was not well observed as it is now. So back then, I could imagine, right? They got away with so many psyopses just off of the fact that the idea of paid actors responding to events was not in the consciousness of the people like it is now. I still don't think it is now to that degree, right? You have to kind of be a quote-unquote conspiracy theorist to be aware of that. But it's just crazy back then that was like they were doing this stuff back then, and I like to believe that if they've given us AI now in the past 3 years, they probably had it for the past 10 years. And this 911 thing was one of the biggest conspiracy lures out there. So I just think that's I don't know. I just had to comment on that. I thought it was really interesting to see footage from back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm gonna let it keep playing, but I'm gonna make this comment real quick. And maybe it might be an arrogant, ignorant statement that I'm making right now. But I feel like as a grown adult, at my age right now, if I was this age back then, that guy came and talking on TV the same day, doing that stupid speech, saying like, yeah, and then it hit, and then they all fell down, obviously from structural failure because the fires were 2 hours. What the fuck are you? It's 2 hours in. What do you mean, obviously, from what the fuck went on? You feel me? And here's another thing that I've spoken on before, but people may not remember. And I'm one of the few people who be honest about this. I feel. I remember, and I've seen other people comment on this too, and I was like, oh shit, I was always right. When that was happening, I was in high school, and I remember they made everybody watch it. Were you in school? Did they put a TV on and make you watch it?
No, well, okay, so I was in second grade, I believe. So like I was a kid, and like I remember this though. There was like the teachers were all kind of like huddled in the hallway when it happened, and this was like towards like the later afternoon, like towards like 2 p.m. So I was already gearing to leave to go home on the buses. But I remember that the teachers were all kind of like talking about something in the hallway, and like they were trying to like kind of keep us distracted with like whatever the fuck. I vaguely remember that, but yeah, I do remember all the adults at the time was like on some other shit. You know what I mean?
Maybe they didn't do it to the younger kids, but everybody who I spoke to who was of high school age from all different parts of the country, they told me they experienced what I experienced. They like either they turned on the classroom TV or they wheeled in a fucking TV and made everybody watch it. And here's something that I'm not afraid to admit. And here's how I know programming is real as shit. Because when it happened, and I was looking at the TV, and here everything's bullshit. Everything that makes you feel like you're smart, everything that makes you feel like you're on the top of the class and all that shit, it just means that you're the most programmed robot piece of shit. Because like I said, at a very young age, I was accepted into college. At a very young age, I was on the quiz bowl team, and I wasn't trying. I was in all advanced classes, and it was easy. They told me to take a test, And I remember walking up to the teacher during this test. All these other kids are so like worried about taking this test and getting into the higher level classes or whatever. I remember looking at these questions like, and since I know I'm in a test for special classes, I'm being more thorough. So I remember going up to the teacher and asking them like, what do you mean what planets have rings? Are you talking about the obvious one, Saturn, or are you talking about the ones that actually display rings, that actually have ice rings or whatever? This is me like in 5th grade or whatever. And she's like, I don't know, just write everything you think should be there. And I remember getting detailed and everything, right? I say that not to say I'm intelligent. I say that to say that I was fucking stupid. This didn't come from being super advanced. This came because I was a kid who enjoyed watching so-called educational things more than cartoons and bullshit. Like I said on the all school was is the Discovery Channel and the Science Channel and shit like that. You feel me? So I had all this information in my head already. I say that to say this. Fast forward to high school, this shit happens, they put it on the TV. When they showed this and they showed the plane, I saw the second plane hit the building. The first thing that came to my mind was Osama bin Laden. Nigga, how the fuck did that happen? I still can't explain it. How did that happen? That means I had already been subconsciously programmed with it. And me being in school, you're used to thinking you're smart by having the answers or whatever. And I was like, Osama bin Laden, that shit came out of my mouth. You feel me? That shows that the programming is deep. Hold on.
That's interesting.
Magical Family says, they rolled the TV in and stopped all the classwork for the rest of the day. We just watched it burn and fall. Boom. Another person. Me and Magical Family never spoke about this. Another person. Who is going to bring in a terrorist attack to show it to kids?
Check this out. Actually, I do remember a TV being rolled in at some point. Like I vaguely remember like there was something going on and they had my memory is so blurry because this is back. I was fucking 5, 6 years old or something like that. I do remember like at some point we were watching a TV. Either a TV was rolled into the classroom or we went to another classroom that had a TV in it. I vaguely remember something like, or we were in a hallway or something. Because I went to like a ghetto ass school, so like we definitely just didn't have an abundance of TVs just everywhere. But I do remember they did show us something on TV. And then actually I went home that day. And like, actually, it's funny because my uncle, he used to work in New York. He worked as an insurance salesman. He was actually like a couple blocks down from when it happened. So I do have someone who actually saw it happen. Obviously, like the way it happened is not like the way it happened wasn't how it happened. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But I do remember that there was like a big thing that happened in the school where they had to have everyone move classrooms, or like we had to go out in the hallway. Like I do remember that. And then the next day, like the following week, we practiced this goofy ass bombs safety protocol. We're like, you hide under the desk. If this happens, hide under the desk and lock the doors and shit like that. If like a fucking terrorist bomb, nuclear bomb hit the school or some shit like that. I remember that goofy ass shit.
Trauma for everyone. Let's go.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers.
You must help save Israel!
Wait, disagreeable. Can you pause it real quick? I just gotta make one quick observation. Now, I think it's funny, right? In retrospect, looking back on it, right? When 9/11 did happen, isn't it kind of like crazy how like George Bush just happened to be at a school reading books or some shit to a bunch of like elementary schoolers when it happened, and the president, like they had it on, he had a camera crew on him that happened to catch when his I don't know, security guard or whatever the fuck whispered in his ear that the towers had just been hit. Like I just think that sequence of events was definitely intentional, definitely staged, definitely propagandized.
Let's make it stranger. Let's add on top of that at the time he's holding a book, supposedly be reading it, called My Pet Goat. He's holding it upside down. When the kids start doing their so-called learning in front of him, you feel me? Hey, we're black kids, we can read. You feel me? What are the black kids saying? Steal, must hit, plane must hit, steal. You don't remember? Maybe they'll do it right now. I don't know if they're going to show them saying it in the classroom, but that's a fact. So randomly that's happening. This guy's reading a book called My Pet Goat, holding it upside down. And the kids are saying, steal, must hit, plane. It's weird as hell, bro.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Thank you. Now watch this drive. All right, you need another.
Pretty good drive.
And even if you look at the Genesis story itself in the Bible, there's like hints about it, basically that the Garden of Eden was kind of this petri dish where these people were grown, to serve some sort of purpose for the beings that existed on the outside of it, and they talk about how Adam and Eve were there to till the garden, basically that their existence had some sort of output that was being used as food by someone else, I would say. And that's kind of the idea that's alluded to in some of the Gnostic scriptures. And then you saw that in The Matrix and even in Dark City, that movie, where in that movie they're on a like spaceship basically, but people don't know that their world is actually a spaceship. And someone else is manipulating reality from the outside, and they're feeding off of their emotions and things like that, putting them in different situations to create, emotional reactions, basically. And so I think that's similar. What they're describing there in Dark City, similar to in The Matrix, how you have the machines on the outside feeding off of the electrical impulses, basically created by the people going through the imaginary scenarios in their dream world. And what the Gnostic scriptures seem to be alluding to is that there are beings that are kind of vampiric in nature that created the reality that we're in now and put us inside of it so that we would create these emotions that they would feed off of. And it seems to be, more geared towards creating negative emotions, I would say. And that those are the sorts of energies that these beings like to feed off of. I think time is one of the most illusory things of this reality, and what's going on in the future is kind of, you can see it if once you get outside of these four dimensions. Time is part of the three-dimensional space. When you get up outside of that, you can see where events are leading. You get a broader perspective.
I don't know if you were here when I was speaking on what was happening to Jenna Bush's face when it comes to the liquid crystal ionization, or the liquid crystal mass, as they call it in the more recent studies. This is something that I was commenting on mad years ago, pointing out to people like, hold up, how come these motherfuckers are glitching out, but nothing else is glitching out? How come the background is not glitching out? How come nothing else?
I remember you showed me. I remember you were playing a video of I think it was like Michael Jordan doing something. Like he made some like it was like a clip that you were playing, and like it was
talking about when his arm stretched and all that shit.
Yeah. And then I think you also showed me a clip. I think it was actually the same live stream where like you were showing me like how like this is some female news anchor was like, but her mouth was like bugging out, but nothing else was bugging out. I don't know if you're referring to the same thing, but yeah, that shit is crazy.
And if you get deeper into it and paying more attention, which I was surprised that the guy who I played earlier, he mentioned that it happens when they get into an emotional state. Sometimes they get pissed off at the questions are being asked or something like that, and they can't hold this state together any longer. You feel me? It's
the mask, the human meat suit falls off and shit.
Yes, it's very advanced technology, and it's on everybody. You can't trust anybody. Like I remember I showed my homie who's Rasta and shit. I showed him Bob Marley doing that. He was like, "Oh no, Dread."
Mute, no.
No lie.
This not true. This not true. This not true.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on, man. So wait. Are you trying to tell me like? Are you trying to say like Bob Marley was a half reptilian hybrid like Drake or some shit?
I lean, you know me. I lean towards everything is fake. I've already seen evidence of him doing the full ionization, full on out. You feel me? And they scrub a lot of this shit from the internet. It's hard to find these things. You feel me? There's mad shit I used to research back in the days that I cannot find. I don't know if it's for my own good, because we're not going to get into my weird experiences, but I feel like, let me just say this. hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil is for your safety. You feel me? That shit's for your safety. Some shit you shouldn't even look. Some people are all just look. I'm not worshiping the devil. I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna look at it and research it and look. Nigga, if you don't have a certain type of discernment or a shield or whatever you want to call it, spiritual fucking force field around you, you don't even want to look at that shit. You feel me? And that's a whole other show. I don't want to tell that whole ass story, but I definitely was affected. I don't even get into this. This shit was weird as hell, man.
But real quick though. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just real quick. How old is the clip you just played with the woman talking? That's the woman you were talking. That was, who was that again? I just wanted to.
Her face that was glitching out.
Yeah.
That was Jenna Bush, George Bush's daughter.
Okay. Well, I mean, all right. So whatever, right? It's funny because she's basically describing energy harvesting or like loose harvesting.
You mean the woman talking? That's Tracy.
Yeah. Okay, that was her. Okay, that's what I thought. Because it's funny to me, disagreeable, because a lot of the terminology and the internet occult hybrid knowledge that we have today, like there weren't terms for this 20 years ago, I'm assuming, or these terms got kind of mixed up and they just became new terms. But like she's basically describing like the energy harvesting, loose harvesting concept, and I'm assuming this is from back in the early 2000s or late 90s.
Yeah, early 2000s, late 90s type joint.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a little observation. But I do find it fascinating that like a lot of these concepts. I don't know. I guess because we live in an internet era where everything has to be kind of named there has to be a name to things to explain experiences and scenarios and archetypes to kind of speed the conversation up, right? But like, it does fascinate me. Like these things didn't have names back then, but they do now. I know that's like, ooh, what the fuck? Like, I just find that interesting how these occult concepts, and maybe they had names before. I mean, I know like there's like archon energy or archonism and stuff like that. These are things that like in like the Gnostic teachings and stuff like that. But like a lot of these terms and a lot of these concepts did not have terms. At least from what I know, I could be wrong because I don't know. I'm only 32 years old.
They all had terms. We just have different identifiers through time. That's how time goes. There's nothing new under the sun except we just change it, different slang and different ways where we're looking at things and different people presenting the information from their perspective. But at the end of the day, it's all the same shit. Archons taking your energy or whatever. The Gnostic view on the shit. It's all the same shit. All through time, we've been dealing with the same issue, the same entities. You feel me? The same problem.
Facts.
You want to say anything else? I'll let the person.
No, you go ahead.
We got our first disturbing look at James Holmes in the courtroom yesterday, and ABC's Dan Harris was right there when it happened. And Dan, what a bizarre scene.
Even before this bizarre spectacle of James Holmes in court with that shock of orange hair and that face looking alternately bug-eyed, bored, or blasted, even before this, police sources tell ABC News that Holmes has been acting in an extremely strange manner ever since he was taken into custody, refusing to cooperate, acting as if he was unaffected by his arrest, and even when officers put evidence bags over his hands to preserve the gunpowder residue, pretending they were hand puppets.
Let's get started right into the saga that is James Holmes, the so-called Batman massacre. I guess he's just the crazy nut now, but now we've learned that he has DARPA connections in his past. Let's just go over these real quick. In fact, they go all the way back to his grandfather. James Holmes was one of 6 recipients of the National Institutes of Health Neuroscience Training Grant at the University of Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus in Denver. That was found by Wayne Madsen. The medical campus is recently decommissioned site for the U.S. Army's Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center and is named after Philip Anschutz, the billionaire Christian fundamentalist oil and railroad tycoon.
What's playing right now is very important for those who care. So I don't want to be cutting it up. We have Halo in the chat. He says, "Didn't your boy Floyd have the hand puppets?" Yes, but I don't know if that's for the I don't know if it was for the same reason. I don't know what's going on with Floyd. I told you he was a psycho. When he came out with what he got caught with, I thought bodies were going to pop up. We already spoke about that. But what I will say, let me make a little a detour right here. last night when I was studying, I put on I don't even know the name of the show, Monster 911 or something like that. It's a guy who just does interviews with people. And there was some guy saying that he was haunted, or saw some haunted or saw some spirit or something like that. And it was very time and space is so fucking weird. I don't want to get too into it, but let me just mention this. He talks about how he was in the music scene and he had got into like the occult and even the devil worshiping or whatever because he wanted to have influence and power. And he mentions it, and he didn't want to say his name, and he mentioned being in the same circles as XXXTentacion. He was out in LA and he talks about seeing a woman in white, like from the like what's that movie, Insidious or Ring, whatever, when they show a ghost like woman in the white. He said he sees something like that with a knife and something weird in the other hand, and then he tells other things about his life, and he says his family was deep into masonry, and the other part of his family, which his cousin was in, they were in trafficking and weird shit like that. But something he told says something that he broke down that was very interesting to me is that he was doing some ritual or something one night when he was into that shit. He said he went out under the moon, and whatever the entity had told him to go out under the moon and walk counterclockwise for whatever amount of time, and then something would manifest or some shit like that. So what was interesting about that to me was I was like, oh shit, like gave me the chills instantly, because I remember when I was in northern Florida on a heavy mushroom trip, and one of the craziest, I'll do a whole show on this one day, one of the craziest experiences of my life. But at some point, I remember, it's gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what I was thinking. I remember getting out of my tent and I go to walk around, and my other homie was with me, and this nigga ain't scared of nothing. You feel me? And he was shook. He was like, no, let's just stay here, because shit was getting weird. He's like, let's just stay here. And I was like, he's like, why are you gonna go outside? He said to me, like, why are you gonna go outside the tent? It's good in here. You feel me? I was like, yo, if the devil's outside, I want to see his fucking face. This is me tripping balls. You feel me? So I go outside and I just start pacing Now I think about it, I start pacing counterclockwise. I'm just pacing in circles under the moon. The moon's bright as shit. The crazy part is there must have been an upper atmospheric. I don't even know what you call it, when there was no wind where I was at, but the clouds were moving fast as hell. So I remember that. And as I walk counterclockwise, and in my mind, I don't know if this is me just being who I am, disagreeable, being like, fuck everything, I'm not afraid of shit. You feel me? I'm just walking in circles. And in my mind, I remember thinking like, yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. You out here, bitch. You want me, devil? Come on, come get me, bitch. I'm talking crazy shit. I'm muttering like a madman. I'm on 12 grams of psilocybin mushrooms that have been isolated, if you understand what that is. Feel me? I'm muttering like a madman. I'm like, yeah, you motherfucker, I don't give a fuck. And I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about my life. I'm thinking about struggle. I'm thinking about the hell that I've been through. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, pussy. You can't beat me. I'm like, I'm on some crazy shit. And then in the distance, in the shadows, it's gonna sound crazy, I see a giant being walking around, big as shit, with legs that seem backwards. You know how a goat's legs are, or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? How they like your hooves, and they have that weird direction, like a devil, like a goddamn centaur or whatever it is. What is it? A centaur or
Minotaur?
A minotaur. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, god damn it! It didn't even scare me. And here's the interesting part. Damn, I can't get into this whole story yet. We got to do a whole show on this. But this witch bitch who was out there comes up to me and she's like, "You all right?" Like I'm walking in circles. She's like, "Are you all right?" And I knew this witch bitch was evil. You feel me? So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fucking excellent." Like, what do you want? I'm excellent. I'm great. The fuck do you want? You feel me? And she's like, "Ugh." She like walks away. I can add so much to the story, but we're not gonna go there. I just wanted to add the interesting part about how doing the ritual and the counterclockwise walking and how this shit all connects. So I put this out there as a warning to people. If you're gonna look into the occult and you're gonna do psychedelics and do all the types of things like that, you need to think about everything you're doing, because you might be being influenced to bring something through. You don't even know why you're doing what you're doing. Am I making sense?
Facts. No, super facts. Absolutely. Psychedelics and stuff will open. They call it gateways for a reason. Like that shit will open up channels that you may not necessarily be prepared for.
What I just told you is the tiniest, most boring part of anything I could ever tell you right now. But we'll get into that whole thing at another time. Let me play this unless you want to add something else.
Not good.
And let me catch people up on this. This is the Tracy Twyman mixtape. You feel me? This is an edit put together by Bleeding Alone is the name of the channel, which they changed it to. we're getting to James Holmes. If you don't remember who James Holmes is, because so much shit happens, we don't remember what's going on. You remember who this guy is, right?
Oh, the Batman Ooter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they already went into how he was acting odd, and now they're going to break down his background, how his all the way to his grandfather was always into the sciences and all this shit, and then they're going to get into a clip showing him normal, talking about the shit that he's researching. Let me just let it play. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Holmes also worked as a research assistant intern at the Salk Institute of the University of California at San Diego. Now, he did this in high school. And the Salk Institute teamed up with DARPA, Columbia University, the University of California at San Francisco, and the University of Wisconsin, Wake Forest, and the candy bar company Mars to prevent fatigue and combat troops through enhanced use of a blood-flowing
my bad. Took my headphone out to stop.
Dilating antioxidant flavanol found in cocoa. So they made this magic chocolate that would keep troops going all the time. And so there's your first DARPA connection. The second one, in addition, James's father, Dr. Robert Holmes, worked for the San Diego-based HNC Software Incorporated, a company that worked with DARPA to develop chronic neural networks that enable machines to translate oral and visual stimuli and stimulate human thinking. But it doesn't stop there. The Holmes family appears to have deep connections to the military-industrial complex. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Holmes, grandfather of James Holmes, was a Turkish language graduate of the Army Language School, and later the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, the same installation, incidentally, where alleged 9/11 hijacker Saeed Al-Ladmi supposedly trained. So you got all these deep DARPA connections with James Holmes. You see him in court. His eyes are bugging out of his skull. He looks totally detached from reality. Nobody seems to be questioning that, at least in the mainstream media. Everybody else is wondering, what's this guy on? But, of course, there's nothing there.
Thanks, Claire. All right, our next speaker is James Holmes. He has, what school did you graduate from?
Westview High School?
He just graduated from Westview High School and will be attending the University of California, Riverside. He will be majoring in neuroscience. His goals are to become a researcher and to make scientific discoveries. It's a good start. In personal life, he enjoys playing soccer and strategy games, and his dream is to own a Slurpee machine. These kids have been fun to work with this summer.
Test.
He won't let you show unless you can hear it.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, the lab I work in is the Computational Neurobiology Lab, or CNL for short. CNL is very computer-oriented. Basically, everybody who works in CNL does programming of some sort. One division of the lab called M-Cell does mathematical models of the cell, such as that picture there. There's also computer simulations of hippocampal functions and neural network firings. And the knowledge that's gained is then made available to the public and the scientific community through the web. My mentor, John Jacobson, who works in CNL, is a philosophical type of guy. He's interested in how we perceive reality, specifically grapheme perception. And graphemes are basically just letters of the alphabet. And he wants to know how graphemes are mediated in spatial frequency channels. He also studies subjective experience, which is what takes place inside the mind as opposed to the external world. I've carried on his work in dealing with subjective experience. I've done it through Flash programming. Flash is set up to make movies. There's a timeline, which is on the top there. And within the timeline, there are layers, and layers give the movie order and structure. And within the layers, there are frames, and text, images, and code can be placed in the frames to make the movie do things. And my main task was to write code.
I don't even want to stop this. I hope people are following. Are you following, Wavy?
Yeah, I'm kind of multitasking, but yeah, this dude had prior knowledge to stuff back then. This is I got you.
Flash programming and placing things at a frame rate that can make, how did you say it? Make people do things or make your mind do things?
Can be placed in the frames to make the movie do things.
Placed in the frame to make the movies do things. You feel me?
This is almost like I guess a prototype or a blueprint to AI and like almost like what I would call like digital MK Ultra. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
I forgot what they call it, but it's the next level of that shit that they do in the movies. Since back in the days that they try to say is illegal. Back in the days, they used to put in so many frames of the movies like buy popcorn, go get candy, go get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like subliminal programming through subtle frame adjustments and stuff like that. You can't even get like your conscious mind can't keep up. Your subconscious is
Exactly.
directly targeted.
Exactly. This is the next level. Back in like whenever this happened, like the late '90s, early 2000s. When did this shit happen? Time flies. You feel me? But this was the next level of that. Imagine where they are now. Do you remember being on a computer when everything was Flash? Remember when Flash was a shit?
Yeah, Adobe Flash and stuff like that. You have to download that shit. That didn't even come with most computers. You have to like update your driver, your Flash driver, and shit like that.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure everybody's keeping up. It's not too technical. You feel me? Shout out to Shaka in the chat. But I'm gonna let it go. Oh wait, before I let it go, I wanted to comment like, how interesting is that that's what he's working on, and this guy ends up being the so-called movie shooter. You feel me?
Actually, I want to actually speak on that real quick. And this is like nothing this isn't like a shocking revelation, but I do think it's important to understand with these kind of situations, kind of like similar with like MK Ultra Disney kids or Nickelodeon kids. Like there are academia, aka MK Ultra children who do come in through the academia system with MK Ultra programming to either push agendas or to further some kind of research due to their intellect and academic prowess. And I do think that academia, like most information sources, are Masonic controlled, Luciferian controlled.
In fact, all of them. You think academia and so-called quote unquote scientific, not exploration, but advancements and all that shit. It's all nothing is for your benefit. No advancement is for your benefit. The music is not for your benefit. All these government families from Laurel Canyon and the Doors and all these
Right. Yeah, Jim Morrison and shit.
Yes, you feel me? And to me, the devil trying to do what the devil do is not that scary to me. What's scary to me is that nobody gives a shit.
Right.
You can let everybody know, and they're just like, oh, you feel me? I don't care about.
Nigga, I got bills, nigga. What? Nigga, that was for my dick, nigga.
Turn that shit up. Where the hoes at?
Right. Fuck that devil bitch ass nigga, bro. Fuck that shit, bro.
Let this shit play.
And my main task was to write code. And I was writing code to show how our perception of causality can be tricked. And a major way humans learn is through action and effect relationships. And to simulate this on a computer, we have a key press as an action, and effect is the appearance of an image. And actions and effects have logical progressions through time. That is, effects proceed or seem simultaneous with the actions that cause them, unless we have a temporal order judgment reversal, which I just call the illusion. And in the illusion, the effect seems to precede the action that it causes. So subjectively, you're causing a...
I want people to keep up with this, and I'm sorry, this is so high level that I'm barely keeping up. So I'm gonna take this back a couple seconds because I want to hear exactly how we said it. You feel me? Let me take this back a couple seconds. Take it back right there.
Unless we have a temporal order judgment reversal, which I just call the illusion.
My bad. I want to take a little bit further back.
There are frames, and text, images, and code can be placed in the frames to make the movie do things. And my main task was to write code. And I was writing code to show how our perception of causality can be tricked. And a major way humans learn is through action and effect relationships. And to simulate this on a computer, we have a key press as an action, and effect is the appearance of an image. And actions and effects have logical progressions through time. That is, effects proceed or seem simultaneous with the actions that cause them, unless we have a temporal order judgment reversal, which I just call the illusion. And in the illusion, the effect seems to precede the action that it causes. So subjectively, you're causing events to happen in the past. And to implement this illusion, we insert a series of gradual delays in between the actions and the effects. So we'd have a key press, and then a 10 millisecond delay, and then an image appearing. and then keep pressing, and then 20 millisecond, and then an image appears, and we keep doing this over and over again, and it would increase up to around.
Even if you don't totally understand what he's saying, think of the implications. Even if you don't understand what he's saying, just think about how he's building the mechanism of how it deals with your mind and how that deals with people who are on fucking devices all day and typing all day, and how just the time between the selection of the key and the image coming up affects your perception of reality. And you might be warping reality just by doing that. You feel me? Magical Family says he was a prime target for reality warping and implicit mind control. I think I know what you're saying, but if you can clarify and expound on that a bit, I would appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
On 200 milliseconds, and we do this gradual delay incrementations to adapt the person to modify their perception of time. And then after we modify their perception of time, we completely remove the delay, and this causes the time illusion. And potential applications for this illusion are in reducing car accidents, and it might be possible to increase the reaction times of drivers. Also, another application is in the entertainment industry, like video games. And my mentor came up with the video game one, not me. So gamers might feel like they have a superpower, and I might let them have more fun. So
keep you addicted to the game, whatever it is. You're thinking you're doing better. No, you're not doing better, nigga. There was an intentional delay there. Then the delay is removed. You think you're getting better. You think you're very good at this. You're not good at shit. Let me chill.
Lastly, I'd like to thank John, CNL, Sloan Center, Homesteaders, and family. If they want to give me an allowance bonus, that's good too. Any questions? Nope. Oh, you just spinning.
Doesn't it seem like a highly intelligent kid, like a normal kid? You feel me? That was maybe he's connected to a military family. They put him through the rituals and all that shit. But he doesn't seem. I think as niggas we can sense darkness. I don't sense much darkness coming off of him. I feel pity for him. You feel me?
If I could just say this real quick, and kind of like going back to my last comment. I do think that like these like academic think tanks that they have and like these like high society college I don't know places. I do think most of that is CIA and Masonic to some degree. I do think that they do scout for like regular, like let's say non-initiated members and bring them in. I do think that I'm gonna say it's gonna sound like kind of a crazy statement. I don't think it's that crazy if you like think about it. There's nothing crazy, nothing really too deep. But like, I don't know if y'all have ever been to like if y'all ever had like a class let's say like you ever had like a super autistic kid in your school, like he's like Asperger's, like whatever, but like he's like super fucking smart, and they have like a student aid type of person, handler, I guess you could say, if you want to look into it like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about y'all, but like I had one of those people in my my graduating class. I'm not gonna say his name, but like he was ridiculously smart, but he used to pick his nose and say a bunch of crazy shit, and had again like not Tourette's, but like he was making little noises or whatever it is. But like the dude was like way too smart. Like he would answer every like I had a math class with him, and I'm not gonna say like I'm some smart kid. Like I was not academically gifted at all, but like he was in for whatever reason. Maybe they dumbed him down, or they were trying to like slow down his process. But he was in one of my math classes, like my sophomore math algebra classes. But like this dude was just on it, straight A's. Just I've seen his grade. I've seen like I used to like kick it with the teachers because like they were just like cool as fuck with me type shit. And we just chill type shit. And I would think my algebra teacher would talk to me about the students on some shit. He really shouldn't have been even saying the shit that he was saying about other students to another student. But like he was like, yo, like that kid, like I don't even have to grade his papers. But like I guess the point I'm trying to make is that like those types they do keep an eye on. There's no doubt in my mind they keep an eye on these types of people, and they get them inducted or initiated into some think tank. This guy, and I didn't even know this guy had the Batman shooter had this type of background. I just thought he was just like a crisis puppet type of Uter type of situation. But now that I've seen this, it makes sense.
All the crisis puppets have this background. There is nobody who's not connected to a military family or connected to something like that, or an actor. It doesn't happen. They're not gonna something that important for whatever and whatever means to an end that they're doing with these events. They're not gonna put that into a random person's hand. Like just activate them and go do that. No, they
right.
You know me, they've been programming this person for a while to do that. And and to add on to what you're saying, I've heard from somewhere, I can't remember where I've heard this, but a guy was talking about how that this creation of autistic people is for them to be able to make these type of people to use because for this high level of talent. You feel me? But means you're gonna have a bunch of weirdos out there, and every once in a while you're gonna get like a savant. You feel me?
Well, I've always had a theory that autism is not like obviously like these diseases and these neurodisorders are, I'm gonna say they're mostly man-made, but with autism, I think that was like the best way to describe it is like a filtering system, but as well as some kind of like, I always like autism was a way, like it was something that was made. It was a diagnosis, not necessarily a neurological disorder. I mean, it could be, but like it was a diagnosis to catch these types of people and put them in a certain think tank, controlled environment for them to do what you just said, be involved in these operations. Like it makes sense. Like why would they pick a random like how can you trust a random motherfucker to just carry out some psyop or something like that? You know what I mean? That doesn't even make sense. I didn't think about it until you just mentioned that, but it does make complete sense. That doesn't make sense.
I feel like it goes both ways. It's either to sift out these people and find these people for these special talents and missions, or to suppress certain people. You feel me? So you make them think they're instead of nurturing their talent, you tell them they're retarded. You have a high number of stupid motherfuckers and single mothers who are just gonna go with it. Oh, my kid's retarded now. Now I gotta treat him like a fucking baby all day. And if you look at these autistic people, they are like the perfect automatons. Sometimes you feel me? Nigga got headphones on, always got a half a little Debbie cake in his mouth, walking around with an iPad all day. Can't do nothing.
Meanwhile, his brain is like making complex calculations through some kind of like complex sorting algorithm in his brain. You wouldn't even know. You just think he's just picking his nose and saying weird shit. Possibly. That's how I look at a lot of these motherfuckers.
I feel like the majority of them are picking their nose, or I feel like the majority of them are just picking their nose, or they are just not in a position to be raised to the level they're supposed to be with because they're with some idiot. You feel me? Like I told you, I know women who have like kids who they say so-called are autistic or whatever, and I've been around them. And I'm like, yo, this kid is just bad. He ain't autistic, and the more that you feed into his bullshit or the school's bullshit or the world's bullshit, see, oh, he's just this, and I have to treat him this way and all that. I'm like, yo, you're just destroying a whole bunch of kids. And I bring that all the way back to, I think I mentioned him on the show before, but people can do this on their own time. Les Brown, he's a motivational speaker. You feel me? If you need to correct your mind, if you have any self-image issues, you need to listen to Les Brown. I recommend Getting Unstuck. You feel me? He's in the same wheelhouse as John Canary and Bob Proctor, but he's more of, Black people. We are more inspirational on this level. You feel me? He has in the science, but he is more about showing you how you can do it through regular examples. And long story short, when he was in school, they told him he was retarded. They told him he couldn't read. They told him he couldn't do shit. You feel me? And he had one teacher in the school, some Black teacher that went to him. They're like, you're not retarded. And he's like, Les Brown said when he was a kid, he's like, no, I'm retarded. I'm supposed to be here. I can't do anything. He was like, nah, you're gonna do it till you're gonna keep doing and learning what I say to learn. The guy wouldn't let him give up. And now, so many years later, this guy is like traveling around the world, inspiring people. You feel me? Somebody who they said he couldn't even fucking read. So it just goes to say what is planted into you is very important. You feel me? That should be obvious. As like, and when you're a child and you're open to being influenced, you shouldn't be told that you can't. You should be told that you can. You feel me?
Right. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. You know what I mean? Nah, but real quick, 2 points I wanted to make real quick. Number one is that these like I don't know, I don't know what the word is, like the special ed, like I guess I don't know, guidance counselor programs for people like that. I've always had a sneaking suspicion that these people are like CIA, military, and like they are in schools to come search out these people. I think I kind of made that point earlier, but
I agree. Did I tell you? I told you about that shit that I went through when I was in elementary school. Did I ever tell you about how they used to make me leave class and go to this other fucking class and shit like that? Yeah.
No, actually, no, you didn't tell me that, but I know what you're talking about. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And it wasn't like that I was retarded, because obviously I was on like the quiz bowl team in advanced classes. They said I had an anger issue. You feel me? So he was making me go to this kid, and I remember being in there with this other kid who was like my friend. I guess we did have an anger issue because we ended up throwing hands later. But I remember going to this room with the school therapist or whatever, and I wish I could remember the name of this game. They made us play some weird board game with like with Play-Doh characters. Like you make a character out of Play-Doh, out of a little mold type thing, and then you play this board game. And I remember one day she had me in there, and the other kid wasn't in there. And she was like talking to me, and I'm like, I don't really remember much of the conversation. But she kept trying to get at something, and then she started talking about my family and trying to get into and like I could feel like she was trying to make me cry. Like I could feel something coming up out of me. Like what the fuck? I felt a weird energy. I couldn't explain it. And she was like, no, it's okay. And it's like singing so no. And I was like, bitch, I was like, fuck this. I got up and I left. And the weird thing is, they never bought me in the class again. They never bought me in the room again. I guess they saw that, this kid's not good for programming. You feel me?
Exactly. We can't control them.
No, now that I think about it, it's crazy as hell. If I had anger issues and I walked out angry, how you not just gonna get him? How you gonna say like, all right, we don't need this kid in either? That's the exact reason that you told me I was there.
Yeah, because they feel like the fluoride isn't pacifying you and shit like that, and like the school lunches and shit like that. Actually, that was like the next point I was gonna make, is that like with the I don't want to say just public school, because I think all the educational system is rigged and controlled, but like with the public school education system, it's like this is why like I feel like with black students, and Umar, shout out to Umar. I know Umar, but like one of them very important. He right. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, bro. I had an evaluation at one point, because like I wasn't like a bad student or anything like that. I wasn't a great student. I was academically inclined. I was like a BC with an occasional A, grade point average. I don't remember my GPA was, but anyway, like I remember like they were doing like little like evaluations, and they asked me to go to take I think they call it an IEP evaluation, and like I remember they were like trying to make me do all these sorts of tests, and I was just like, yo, like. And this is when I was in middle school at the time. I was like 7th grade, 8th grade, and I was just like, yo, like, I don't want to take any tests, because I feel like this is just not like I don't come to school for this. And back then, as unself-aware as I was as a 14-year-old guy, I even told him like I wasn't really like, I'm like, yo, like I'm not trying to take any test. I actually refused to take a test, and they had like a bunch of people come in and talk to me. And they just kind of let me go, because it was like, okay, whatever. But like I remember like they had some of my homies in that shit, and like they were like over here like telling me like, yo, bro, like they made me do these weird tests and shit like that on some like scientific type shit. And I didn't know what they entailed, because I didn't get that far. But like I remember like my friend, and like I don't hang around like even back then, like in middle school, I picked my friends very wisely. Like I was always gravitating towards the weird kids, like the kids that were like smart but like sociable or whatever it is. I remember I went from something like, oh, like they were like trying to like examine me and shit like that. I'm like, examine you? Like, yeah, like they put like weird shit in my face and shit, like telescopes and shit like that. I'm like, yo, like what the fuck? And he was just like, yo, bro, like I swear to God, it was the weirdest shit ever. I feel
familiar. And I feel like for a lot of people, they kind of like did the MIB mind eraser on you, and you don't remember it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he was, bro. I remember my boy, like this specific, my real quick. This homeboy, like he's super smart. He used to hack my PSP. Like he used to hack PSPs and make money off that shit in middle school. Like motherfuckers, this is like 07, 08. Motherfuckers had PSPs just like that. Like people would pay him to jailbreak their PSPs to put games on and shit like that. So he wasn't no dumb nigga, but like I remember he was telling me like, yo, like they put like weird lights in my eyes and shit, and like I just couldn't, like I couldn't make out what they were saying, and like it always stuck with me because I'm just like, what the fuck? And he couldn't really go into detail because like according to him, he couldn't remember shit. And
It's
at
like
first
a
I thought he
dream.
was kind of making
You
up.
have to remember it.
At first I thought he was making up shit because like niggas want to feel special or whatever it is. But like looking back on it, especially with this conversation we just had, like now I believe him. Like what the fuck? And I don't keep contact with him anymore because this was my road, one of my road dogs in high school. We graduated together, but like I remember he was saying like, yo, like I don't even remember what the fuck they did. They're putting shit in my face and whatever it is. Like they had me like look at lights and put like metal in my face. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? I thought, nigga, you whatever. You trying to be cool and shit. You feel me?
Yeah, like I believe him. You feel me? That shit was like a half. That shit's like a half dream. You remember it like a half dream. Like I didn't really remember being in the GATE program shit until they started talking about it. The whole GATE, recently they started talking about the GATE program, the special gifted or whatever, and how they made you go to a different room and they told you they gave you fluoride for your teeth and these pink pills and all this weird shit. You feel me? Like I remember that shit. I remember being in elementary school doing that shit, and they tried to say it was like fluoride and all that. But I remember there was like a difference. Like some kids had got that little cup of the bullshit fluoride over there, and this is insane. You're in school trying to learn, and they're taking your kid. How do parents not think this is funny? I'm like, yo, they're in there to learn the fucking ABCs, and you're taking them to the side room or bathroom, or whatever, and telling them to wash your mouth out with fucking delicious bubblegum tasting type liquid.
Right. Putting nitrous in your face, putting nitrous in your brain cells, in your nostrils and shit.
Yes, and I'm like, yo, so all right. I'm like, all right, so let's say we believe that the liquid was fluoride and you're supposed to spit it out or whatever like that. But what about the pink tablets? Who gives a fucking fluoride tablet to a kid that says chew it up and then spit? That shit don't make no fucking sense. You feel me?
Bro, facts.
It is what it is. Hold on, we got Magic Family said disagreeable. Did they used to pull you out of class and do side projects and mind exercises in elementary school? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. They told me I had anger issues. You feel me? And it wasn't. Maybe they had to bring me back to maybe when they. Let me be specific with this because it's kind of odd. I was pulled into these other rooms to do these tests for advanced classes and placements and all that shit in elementary school. And then they asked me to be on the quiz bowl team, which is all these. And the quiz bowl team was all the super nerdiest kids in the school. You feel me? Except my homie ended up being. I was attracted. Attracted to this guy who was my homie. He was a white boy, and me and him were the only ones in this thing that weren't weirdos. Everybody else was like the kids who were trying really hard. You know what I'm talking about? The kids who were trying to really hard to be smart and shit like that. And I remember the kids in the quiz bowl team when we had practice and shit. They used to be mad that I didn't have to try. That they were just naming off like we have to practice these different type of academic questions and shit. And I didn't give a shit. I just be sitting there rattling them off, answering them faster than everybody else because I didn't feel special or smart answering this shit. This is just programming nonsense. This is just shit that I've heard. That you understand what I'm saying? If you do anything else except watching cartoons and you watch some educational programs, you're gonna know everything that's going on in the shit. Or maybe I'm downplaying myself because I was reading very advanced books when I was young, under my own accord. And I gotta give that shout out to my grandparents for having a library in the house, and for me reading all these weird books that were in the house at a very young age. But then again, my grandfather was a Mason, my grandmother was an Eastern Star, and they don't ever talk to me about that shit. You feel me? Never talk to me about that shit. So I could have blocked memories right now. Maybe I was getting programmed and abused. I don't know. To be real. And
that's crazy.
And my grandparents are still alive. And I'm like, if there's an itch in me to ask them, like, why you like? I'm like, what happened to my father? Why is he so fucking weird? You feel me? It makes me want to ask these questions. Like, oh, you were in these secret organizations, and now you go to church and shit, and you don't talk about this anymore. I don't see that porcelain book in the house with that Baphomet with the different colors on the side. I don't see that around the house anymore, unless it's in their room, because I don't really go in their room like that. So I'm like, you're just not gonna tell me shit? You feel me? It really bugs me because of all the research I do and the things that I know. You feel me? But it's definitely odd. It's definitely odd. Y'all just having fun and shit. Yeah, I remember being pulled. Put it this way, the anger. Maybe they lied to me as a kid and just told me I had anger issues, and that's why I was in there because the shit wasn't.
Well, that's what Umar was talking about.
It was fun. Like the English class was fun. We were kicking it in there. I told you the only time that it went left is when she had me in there by herself and she was trying to do that get out shit with me. You feel me? I remember sitting there. I remember sitting there in the chair and just feeling weird as fuck while she was talking to me. And I remember looking at her desk. And you know how the school psychiatrists had that. You know, back in the days they had those little fake waterfalls on their desk or whatever. It's like a little water.
They had like the sand. I remember when I went, like when I almost did my evaluation, because I didn't go through with it. But I remember they had like a little sand thing. You could like rake. You could like it had like a mini rake.
Yeah,
like
the sand with the rake, the little
sand
rake thing and shit like
Yeah,
that.
it was some,
And I
like,
don't know if that was as popular
shit.
back in the days, in those early days, the 90s days and shit like that. But
I think it's like a neurological thing. Like they like okay, like some subjects may be subjected to hand motion, so you want to give them something to put in their hands, type shit.
I don't know, like you don't really think about things till you talk about them, and I'm realizing like, damn, after that day that I was like what the fuck? I don't know. I was a good ass kid. Like I was such an innocent kid that I didn't even know what the middle finger was when I was a kid. You feel me? I didn't know what that meant or anything like that. So I definitely didn't say, "Hey, bitch, let me out of here." But I remember getting angry enough, or some energy came out of me on a level where I got out of there, and that bitch didn't try to chase me or do anything. Like they were afraid. You feel me? So I don't know.
I do think that like I feel like the eugenicist programs never stopped after World War II. I think that a lot of the eugenicists, they got into academia and they did infiltrate the public school system, or they controlled the public school system. Where I do think that a lot of these types of situations are low key eugenicist programs too. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like I was special or anything like that, like I was super smart or anything like that. But my one homie that I was referring to earlier, like he was a white boy. He used to fucking he was computer savvy in middle school before like we really knew like motherfuckers were taking typing classes. This motherfucker was jailbreaking PSPs and stuff like that back in like shit like that and like, sidekicks and shit like that. But I do think that there's an active and Umar talked about this too, but I think he didn't. I don't think he ever went that deep. I do think that there is a black eugenicist program by white people or by the system, the CIA, whatever it is, to kind of watch over black intelligence. And I guess white person will be like, oh, there's that for white people. I'm sure, right? Whatever, because my homeboy was white, and they put all sorts of weird metal in his face and shit like that, from what he said. But I do think that there is, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say anything crazy, but like basically it's like, bro, this whole educational system is one big. It's not only a prison, a public school to prison pipeline, but I do think it was a eugenicist program as well as a MK Ultra. Like, okay, if you're not, I don't know, genetically,
you don't even have to qualify anything you're saying. Just say it. You feel me? Because it is what it is. Like the teachers are observing you. There's people in the school that's observing you. There's things that you might not have thought that you were that smart. They might have seen you use certain language, certain cadence, it could be things that you don't notice. You feel me?
Right. And actually, this is the point I was going to get at. Because we like a lot of these teachers. I mean, obviously, they come from the same academia simulation program where they're MK Ultra'd out, and it wouldn't surprise me that some of these teachers are agents and CIA agents. You would think, oh yeah, Miss Applebottom, like she's just a nice teacher and whatever it is. And I noticed that as I like throughout the years growing up in the 2000s, going to school in the 2000s, public school in the 2000s, the teachers got younger and younger. Not all of them, but I've had some young ass teachers. And I'm not gonna lie, the female teachers, these white female teachers from what I remember from middle school and high school and even elementary school, they were fine as fuck. And I'm like, looking back and I'm like, yo, like, why was my teacher like a 23-year-old or 24-year-old bitch, like blonde bitch from fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to think like,
you're naming the phenotype of a lot of teachers I have, but let me put this forward too.
Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't realize they were young until we were a little older. Like when we were in elementary school, they were like 20 years old, but we thought they were grown ass people because you're little kids.
Facts.
The younger you are, the more the age difference matters. You feel me?
That's facts. And like as we know now, right, with academia as it currently stands, and quote unquote wokeism, which I hate. I hate that the term woke has been weaponized, because the term woke was not what it did not originally mean what it meant now, but they flipped it onto some leftist super gay weird shit, but Baphomet type shit. But like there was no, I mean, I'm not gonna say there was no reason, but like the fact that like I had like, I don't know, 9 years old, I had 23-year-old blonde haired teachers that came from these academic programs from the
Let
Zionist
me ask you a
control
random question. My
Rothschild
bad. I don't
education.
want to cut you off,
Hey,
but let me
hey, go ahead.
ask you a random question where you won't even know that I'm going to ask you this. It's going to be crazy. I wonder what your answer is going to be. Did a lot of your elementary school, because you're not from California, did a lot of your elementary school teachers happen to be from California?
From what I remember, no.
All right, so that's a
No.
theory I could throw in the garbage, or maybe I could ask some other
I
people.
mean, it's just for, you gotta ask other people. But I mean, I'm from Jersey. I know.
I was in Georgia. So.
I mean, yeah, we're on the same like coastline, I guess. But like, nah, I don't remember any of my teachers at all. But hold on, actually, because it actually kind of goes into what I was gonna say. That the whole feminist or feminine, and I'm not trying to make this like a gender war women question type of thing, but like the fact that like most of my teachers or most people's teachers were fucking 20-something-year-old college women, white women.
But we come from the age when that was changing. Because from what I understand, before my generation, having a male teacher was more common. You feel me?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they made like
it wasn't common for me in my generation. I think I had a handful of male teachers. Like maybe 5 at most that I can count from elementary school to high school. I think I had 5 male teachers. I don't think that's a coincidence. Is what I was trying to get at. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
I don't think it's a coincidence either. I'm saying like I could probably remember the same number that you're saying. I'm saying before I was even in school, like in the 70s and shit like that it was more common to have male teachers. You feel me? It became like mainly a woman's job. You feel me? Maybe women were always on the elementary shit to be around the kids or whatever. But like high school and middle school, they were like mad male teachers. Maybe somebody in the chat, since y'all are chilling in here and not hitting the like button, maybe you can let me know. Let me know, because Shaka's still here. He's a little older than me. So how was it when you were in middle school or high school? Did you have more male teachers? Like what was it like in the land before time?
and the great beyond. But that's real shit though, because okay, I'm gonna go out and be sexist here or whatever it is, but like women are obviously more susceptible to programming, and the fact that I guess at a certain point after the 1970s, 1980s, there was a prominence of female teachers in the public school system. I don't remember having a whole bunch. It is funny because some of my favorite teachers were male teachers. Like I had a bunch of male history teachers that I always thought was like cool as fuck. Like they was on some shit. My female teachers, I had this one female teacher that was like super feminine. I remember, and looking back on it, like because I have great long term memory. Looking back on it, she was a feminist. Like she hated men. Like she always hated men.
Hated the male students. Treated the female students with preference.
Right.
And
I had her, and it's funny because I had her for a 3rd grade teacher, and then she became my 5th grade teacher. And mind you, she was fine. I mean, as far as I remember, she was a fine white woman. Like she was. I remember I was like, damn, like, yo, Miss, whatever her name is, she was great. Like, she was great. But like I remember like all the teachers' pets were girls. She used to talk to the male students like we were retarded and shit like that. I think this goes into like the whole Batman Uter shit, but like this goes into this mass MK Ultra of academia. Why society? Part of why society is where it's at is because of this whole conversation we just had. The infiltration of academia, female teachers, this feminist ideology in the educational system, the MK Ultra Laurel Canyon-esque aspect of public school education. Go ahead, bro.
I don't feel like it's sexist at all, because you have me thinking now, like thinking back, the teachers that had the most impact on me were male teachers, and it was because they were just doing their thing. Like now I'm thinking about it, I had a science teacher in middle school, and I feel bad that we tortured that nigga. You feel me? I feel bad.
Right.
he was cool as fuck, and science has always been my favorite shit. So there's nothing you could teach me. You feel me? I have to go to college level for somebody to teach me something about science. But he made it understandable in school. He went to the next level. I remember him taking the whole class outside and taking us around trees and shit like that, and like showing us hands-on and shit. But I was like breakdancing and shit in middle school. We used to torture this nigga. Like we'd be fucking with the bitches in class. Me and the homies would be moving the desk in the back of the class. He'd be like, "Yo, don't do that." But he just didn't care. Like he told us not to do it. We still move the desk. We're flipping around in the back of the class and shit like that. But he definitely made an impact on me because of how on point he was. Another teacher, Mr. Martin. I barely remember these niggas' name. Mr. Martin from high school. And here's how the universe works so weird. I was accepted into college in 6th grade. I'm obviously not a fucking idiot. So there was a point in high school where I decided like I'm actually going to, because I left the environment I was around with my grandparents and was moved into hell in South Florida, where I was placed where nobody's giving me any guidance and it's just there to fight niggas and be some stupid shit. You feel me? So I remember the time in high school, I was like, yo, I'm gonna take this serious. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, whatever. Because I didn't really give a shit at some point. And I remember doing this crazy project for the English teacher. This is good. This is so crazy. This could be some movie shit. Her name was Miss Lillivall. She had a twin sister, and we knew that they were switching up and they were both working one job.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, she had a twin sister. And guess what? She just happened to live in my neighborhood. And sometimes, that's how the universe is so weird. Sometimes I get mail in our mailbox, and my mom would tell me to check the mail, and it would be her mail. And there's a whole neighborhood full of all these houses. I'm like, how the fuck is her mail ending up in my mailbox? And it's important paperwork, and I make sure I dispose of it. I would never give her anything. I throw that shit in the garbage. Fuck that bitch. You feel me? Then, but let me get to the point. Like, it's the end of the year. This crazy project I had to do. I went out of my way to do it crazy. For one, I don't like to pat myself on the back. Let's look at evidence. I might be a certified genius if you just want to look at school and academics and where I was placed earlier. I don't know many people who are touring Duke University, UCF, Howard, and a bunch of other colleges I can't remember when you were in 5th grade and 6th grade.
Get the fuck out of here, for real.
Yeah, 100% facts.
Jeez.
I was accepted into Clark Atlanta University. There's a reason why I'm mad. I'm a psycho. I should have never been selling cocaine. You feel me? But let me get to the point. So I did this crazy.
My boy's on that French Montana shit.
Here's the feminist shit, because he always was cheating. She treated the girl so much better than us and all this shit. So I remember I did this crazy paperwork, and it was the end of the day. I go to give it to her. I'm feeling mad good. I did this shit perfectly, right? I'm like, boom, boom, here it is. I'm being mad respectful. Boom, here it is. Boom. I'm like, I know I did it good. Yeah, I got it. You feel me? I handed her my packet. She took it from my hand and she threw it in the garbage in my face. She took it out of my hand and threw it in the garbage in my face. And I'm just standing there like, what the fuck? And she didn't even make eye contact with me. She said, oh, your paperclip is on the wrong side holding it together. Take it out the garbage and move your paperclip from the left side to the right side, or whatever the fuck she told me to do. I looked at her and I was like, what? I was like, fuck you, bitch, suck my dick. And I walked out the class. Right? And then I left it in the garbage. I walked out of class. She's like, oh, you're not gonna take it out? You're really gonna fail just because of this? I didn't say one word to her. I just left. I just left it where it is. And guess where I ended up? You know what's crazy about this? The same year that I ended up in summer school for English is the same year that I got an honors from the whole state for being one of the highest testers in English in the state of Florida. That's how you know this school shit doesn't make any fucking sense. But let me get to the point. The universe works in a mysterious way. I ended up in summer school with Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin was a spiritual ass white nigga. That nigga had us watching the Little Buddha in class, reading Gilgamesh, breaking down ancient texts and fucking mythology and shit like that. One of the best times and one of the most shit I've ever learned in school. Shit that like I was interested in. You feel me? But it's still like a sad tale. You feel me? Like, think about how that could fuck up a kid where you're trying your best and you have some bitch throw your shit in the garbage in front of you. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I think I mean, bro, like, this is why public education is, I mean, we already know this, right? But like, it's just, I guess what really boggles my mind is that, like, even on a low level, like, the whole education, the educational system has made parents so stupid and unattentive to these types of things. And unfortunately, I have people like this around me to where like they have children and like and I try to pick their brains like, yo, what's your kid learning? I don't know. They learn, I don't know, coloring, colors, ABC, whatever. And I'm like, yo, like, shouldn't you kind of like check what your kid is learning? I ain't worried about that shit. I know a lot of young millennial / Gen Z parents, and it's just like, bro, like, you're letting your kids just brain rot in this educational program. You don't know what the fuck they're learning. You don't know who they're learning from, right? Like, especially if you have black kids. Like, in my opinion, like, I'm with Umar. Like, your black child should not be getting educated by a 22-year-old liberal leftist white woman. And I'm not even in the political paradigm shit, but it's that indoctrination that comes with those titles that these people are educating your black children. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on that type of wave. You feel me?
Yeah, it's lazy parenting, especially if you have two parents and if you in the operations haven't fully worked where you're with a single mother and then she's doing all this extra shit. And even when you have a single mother and she's under all this pressure, they're still fucking lazy because they could do more. You feel me? People enjoy their kids being gone during the day. Enjoy, I go to school, like I get some time to myself or whatever. You feel me? Like,
public education is just free daycare to a lot of motherfuckers. And I be around motherfuckers that got kids, and like I don't say nothing because like it's not my when you don't have kids, like motherfuckers don't take your opinion about kids seriously anyway. But it's just like I see how they like, oh yeah, the kids come home, they bring home some paint, some I don't know, coloring, but it's like, yo, it's more than that. Like, ask, like, what did you learn today? And I know it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm being a little self-righteous, but it's like, yo, like, ask your kids, like, yo, what did you learn today? Like, what did your teacher do? And it's only when something bad happens, like when your fucking 25-year-old female teacher molests your fucking son, that's when you like, oh, what's going on here? Or actually, better yet, when your 25-year-old male, I don't know, 45-year-old male teacher molests your daughter, that's when motherfuckers give a fuck about the educational system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and think about how sad that is, that you think you're being self-righteous by thinking that a parent should ask their kids questions.
That's regular shit, right? That's regular shit. And I hate that I hate that I preface it like that, but it's like, you know, it is like, bro, like people don't want to hear your opinion on shit when you have kids.
You preface it like that because that's how pathetic it is nowadays. You feel me? Motherfuckers are only interested when you're doing something that's negative that they might think embarrasses them. They're not giving a fuck about your education or your advancement. If they're thinking, oh, this might embarrass me, my kid's gonna be seen as bad or whatever, that means that I'm a bad parent. That's gonna be embarrassing to me. That's the only thing they fucking care about. They don't care about the information that you're absorbing or the person that you're becoming. You feel me? Motherfuckers don't give a fuck for the most part.
It's fucked up.
Let's see if we got anything left in this Tracy joint. Because I told you, this is kind of like an edit, a mixtape that the guy made. So I can't remember if she's talking much more, but I think she is.
Rules. But that means there's a writer. Somebody is writing those rules. Who is it?
Well, it could be one being. It could be a multitude of beings. I think that it's us, in a way, that some.
Then you would have to create yourself.
Was written ahead of time.
But then then you'd have to create yourself.
Yes, that's the idea, that you probably did. That you were on the outside, the real you, created a fake you to play, and and that's you are the fake you right now. You're playing the game, and part of what results from playing the game is the changing of reality according to yes, rules that were set up ahead of time, but also whatever you choose. There's an element of free will here. There's an element where you're choosing things and bringing them about. So I think that on the one hand, you probably had something to do with it in the beginning, creating the rules, and then now that you're in the game playing it, you're still creating it, and you're creating it in ways besides just what the conscious decisions you're making. You're also influencing it with your unconscious and subconscious thoughts as well.
Alright, now 10 for us 11.
I'm not sure if she speaks anymore. I think this guy might have just have it on some mixtape shit. Like he's just showing clips of the regular people and things like that around the World Trade Center. Like you can see the date right there, January 31st. I guess it's like New Year's, a year before this. The year before this went down. It happened in 2001, right? So a year before this went down. Let me see. I don't think she chats it up anymore. But I like this part right here though. Look.
Did he just say one?
Yeah.
Oh shit, mute.
I said bomba clap. Look at the TV. Look how fast time, like not the TV, the computer. Look how fast time moves and how, but at the same time, nothing changes. You feel me? That's how you know we're in a controlled bullshit world. You can look at the speed of advancement and how nothing changes. Nothing changes. All we just have is more convenient control mechanisms. And that's it. We don't have to watch the rest of this. Like I'm pretty sure she didn't chop it up anymore. I'm pretty sure it's just some clips of the tower. The guy just chopped it in like this. People working and New Year's or whatever. You know. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the boring part of the show. We can keep going into that, but yeah, you know, I don't. The show's not really designed for an audience or anything like that. So we move on to Clarissa Shields is an idiot, and it kind of all goes together. And how my last part of the title is Clarissa Shields is an idiot, and then it goes into women are insane, and it connects to Tracy Twyman because Tracy Twyman was so insane that she would try things that was probably detrimental and ended up getting her hung in her garage. You feel me? But if we didn't have somebody that crazy to do all this shit, we wouldn't have any of the information. You feel me? And that's not even someone. You needed somebody that's so detached like her to do it because other people become full Satanists and they're not going to tell you what happened in the shit. She's so detached that we just got information from her. We got data from her. You feel me? And if you're interested in your own time, like I said, her name is Tracy Twyman. You can go to the channel. Let me give him another shout out if you watch this whole fucking video. You can go to the channel. It used to be called 97, just 97X or something, but I guess he changed his name to Bleeding Alone. That's a tag right there, HXXVXNLY. And he has like a very nice collection of Tracy Twyman videos. I've watched a lot of these, and it gets deep. It gets deep. She was talking about all it. It gets deep. Let me not even speak too much about Tracy. It's pretty crazy. And his playlist, which I didn't even look into much, I started looking at them a bit yesterday, and I looked at this one that said
tumbling down. We want to bring.
I looked into this one that said important, and if you can see, this list is pretty crazy. I need to go through here, but just a lot of old school clips and things they're talking about. He has an Arizona Wilder in here. If you never watched this Arizona Wilder on Shifting Reptilians, it's very interesting. Yeah, I haven't really looked at it. So he has a lot of shit through here that I really want to check out. Something breaking down the Columbine, which I was young and I never looked too deep into that, but I want to see where that was being controlled or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, shout out to Bleeding Alone. Let's move on. Let's start like this. We'll get into the less boring part of the show. Let me share this tab. Definitely not gonna watch all of this. It's not a goddamn boxing channel. But let's just look at this guy, Rolly Romero, Rolando. 14 win, 12 knockouts.
It was later discovered that Yigan had also suffered a hairline, and they're going to the body. The counter is there.
Let's notice little things like this. Look at the body shot he just took. He ate it like nothing. Uppercut, then he ate that.
It was later discovered that Yigan had also
straight to the
suffered a
gut.
hairline.
Boom, straight to the liver. Ate it. You can see on his face that it kind of hurt, but he still held it together. This is the guy, and I'm so tired of this woman Clarissa Shields coming out and she's a bully, trying to pick on certain men and be like, I could beat him in the ring, I could do that, and then everybody who speaks about it, who tries to tell this retarded woman that you're talking nonsense and you're being insulting to these certain men, she doesn't back down. But I notice every man who talks to this fucking punch monkey, every man who tries to break it down, and they're like, I love her, she's the best of all the women, and they praise the shit out of her. It's like you got to treat these bitches with kid gloves or whatever. No, you're a disrespectful bitch. You need to keep niggas' names out your mouth, or you need to set up the fight. And Rolando's acting like he won't do it. I wish they would set it up. I would love to see her head get knocked off. You feel me? That just adds to the insanity of women. Because you look through comments on IG or something, and you'll see them talking about like, I mean, while I talk, let me let this play like this. You'll see them talking on IG, and I look at the comments, and there'll be bitches in there talking like, oh yeah, she could beat this, or she could be. No, she couldn't beat a regular man. You might think I sound crazy. I feel like I could go in there and beat Clarissa Shields' ass. Easy. And everybody in the world needs to see this, because especially in a combat sport, you would think in a sport that's not combat that they would have a chance. But like the number 200th and something ranked tennis player went and beat Venus and Serena Williams in the same day, back to back. The top players beat the shit out of them. There's the top soccer team. What was it? The women's national team or whatever. What was it? But the high school team beat the shit out of them. High school boys they're not the best high school boys to ever play. No, they beat the shit out of them. We need to stop putting women in danger and making them in this psychosis where they think it's okay to compete against men. You can talk crazy about them. You can even hit them if you want. Because if you hit a man, he's supposed to be a bitch. Like they told you that, oh, he's a pussy and a bitch, and if he hits you back. You know what? You better hope. You need to get into your mind and understand that, okay, it doesn't matter if you think that he shouldn't hit you. Your teeth are still knocked down your throat. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your teeth are still knocked down your throat. Even if you're a bitch now, you're a pussy. I don't give a fuck if every nigga in your family says I'm a pussy. Your teeth are still down your throat. Women, stop putting yourself in danger by thinking this stupid shit. You feel me? So we don't need to get into the full Rolly Romero shit. But look at him. He's in there putting hands on niggas. That was a tap. That was a little tap from him. Well placed, and he put a man down. You feel me? And this is a bitch, and this is a nigga who the bitch is talking crazy about. So let's take it here. Let's take it here, this fucking punch monkey. Let's take it here. Share this tab instead. This is Clarissa Shields training with a Russian boxer. He's not even the best, and this is a Russian boxer that Rolly knocked out. He put him down. You feel me? After this happened, this is training with headgear. Boom. After this happened, she came out going all crazy, talking this shit. Oh, he took the padding out of his clothes. He did this. He did. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. And this is why I don't like women in sports. This is why I don't like women in combat sports. It makes people think that you shouldn't be in this world, period. Get your fucking, you're bleeding once a month. Get the fuck out the gym. Distracting niggas. Niggas got to go light with you. Now they're fucking up their speeding. Now they're fucking up their timing and speed, trying to make you better. You're not going to make you sparring with a man, not going to make him better at all. Even earlier, I was trying to shoot some bail and think, maybe if you had a highly skilled woman boxer, you could let her have headgear and you could have no headgear, and you could just use this to practice your head movement, because her punch ain't really going to do shit to you. Unless she lands perfect with the perfect, it's really not going to do nothing to you. But then I thought about it. That's just going to make you worse. Now you dodging bitch hands. You get in there and try to dodge a nigga's hands, you're going to knock your head off. You feel me? Quick. And I'm not going to harp on this for too long. I just wanted to make a comment on it. That Clarissa Shields is a fucking idiot. Papoose is a bitch and a pussy. Remy Ma is a whore. A ghetto piece of shit whore who shot her friend over like $25 or whatever the fuck she did. And Papoose is a simp cuck faggot. You feel me? And Clarissa Shields is a punch monkey whore. And she needs to stay the fuck away from niggas, stay out the gym, and stop antagonizing niggas in public and making women have some weird delusion that they could beat up men. No. Teach your daughters to stay the fuck away from men. Do you want men to disrespect your daughters and this or that? No. But it's not a good idea to tell them, hey, if a man disrespects you, what you should do is you go put hands on him. Yeah, see how that's going to work out, you fucking idiot? And people will be mad at me saying, like, I'm not letting nobody touch me. All my free hits are done. My free hits that women get, that was all used up in my younger years. Anybody touches me these days, they're getting a man punch. Anybody who puts hands on me, woman, old person, child, anybody who puts hands on me, you're getting fucked up in these days. Am I saying that's good or right? Maybe. I'm just saying it's reality. And I'm not even the most evil person. I know there's people way more evil than me. So don't you think to keep women protected, it's a good idea? It would be a good idea to tell them not to go fuck with niggas. But I see the delusion and the insanity going when I look at these comment sections, where it's women thinking that they could beat men, and then there's either some other men saying like, "Oh, no matter what happens, you're just not supposed to hit a woman. Not supposed to do nothing." You know, and you'll see clips of like girls in school like assaulting young boys and shit like that, and then once the boy finally reacts, then he must be raised by a bitch. His dad is a bitch. Nigga, if I had a son, I tell him to crack your daughter's teeth out of her fucking mouth, and if her dad got anything to say about it, I'm gonna go crack the teeth out of his mouth too. And guess what? If I can't win, I'm gonna get the baseball bat. Baseball bat not working, I'm gonna get the pistol. People need to realize that there's levels to this shit. How about we just don't enact violence on each other? How about we just be civil and don't talk shit to each other and enact violence on each other and live in fucking delusion? All right, I think that was a good rant. That's it right there. That's it right there. And I don't know who was in here. I lost some numbers in the room when I started calling this bitch a punch monkey. She is a punch monkey. It is what it is. Oh, are you calling black women monkeys? No, I call everybody monkey, you fucking self-hating piece of shit. You identify with a primate. That's why it hurts you. I don't identify with a primate, you monkey. All right. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for letting me get that off, Wavy.
Nah, I mean, I get it. Like, sports, combat sports, people are very passionate about that.
And for the last part of my title, Women Are Insane, it connects to Clarissa Shields, and I'm going to make these points. I don't really have clips for this. I could have put something together, but I don't. I just want to make the point that somebody who will wear fake hair on their heads, that's one level of insanity. You not liking your hair is going to make your kids hate themselves and hate their hair too. And you don't give a fuck about that because I don't know what weird shit you're trying to get across. And then for example, I know a bunch of girls in South America, beautiful, perfect women, and one by one, I'm seeing them slowly fuck themselves up with a nose job, with a boob job. I swear, like over these past 5 years since I've been out there, and it's been like 2 years since, like a year and change, 2 years since I've been out in Colombia. So many of them have like beautiful dark-skinned Colombian girl. I mean, the epitome of perfection, perfect, cute face, and then you see the bitch cut her fucking nose. I'm like, so how you not gonna have the same nose as your kids? How your kids not gonna look like you? You don't want your kids to have any resemblance or feel a connection to their bloodline or their grandmother. You just want to do what other bitches are doing. That's fucking insane to me. And think about getting a BBL. Think about getting a titty job. Think about getting lipo. You ever seen a video of liposuction? That's insane. You're gonna go under the knife and let somebody stick a vacuum hose under your skin and poke around and shit, just for some aesthetics. That shit is insane. That shit is insane. So I don't gotta go too far into that. It is. Wavy, comment on this, bro.
I think the body I think the body dysmorphia is at an all-time high. These corporations and the propaganda that's pushing these women to do stuff like that is going to have horrendous effects. Because there's one thing. A fashion trend is one thing, right? Like we all used to wear stupid clothes when we were kids. We look back on it, we laugh. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we wore those pants, those shirts, those hats. But the new fashion trends are surgical. Mm-hmm. And like a surgical trend is that you can't take that off and put it in your closet and be like, oh yeah, we used to wear that dumb shit. I can't believe it, right? No, these the new trends are surgical. These have health effects. These have neurological effects because they're putting chemicals in these butt these BBL butt lifts and shit like that. Like there's health consequences to stuff like that. And the fact that, I mean, obviously, like, I'm gonna be real, the horror market requires like, okay, a chick has to have a fat ass, fat titties, skinny nose, right? Whatever.
Not really. I disagree with that. They're not
okay. Okay, that's cool. But the point I'm trying to make is that like there's the baddie, this promotion of baddie culture, baddie aesthetics. Like let's be real, right? If a chick is going to aspire to, if a chick wants to get any type of surgical procedure done, is to look like that. And I say personally, that look is so they can sell pussy and roll their eyes at niggas.
Exactly, but I don't think it's for the man. I think it's to compete with the other women, or maybe I'll shoot them some bail. Maybe it's for men that are not like me. Maybe to get that to get the Saudi prince to call you up for the shit party. Maybe you have to have that aesthetic. Maybe
right.
That, you feel me? Maybe
I agree.
But I'm saying
I agree with that. But I still think it's obviously it's to compete with other women, but also to compete with other women for what? To sell pussy to niggas. Rich niggas, broke niggas, whatever.
I think the man is in the back of that. I think, I don't think, because the women try to blame, men prefer this. No, they don't. Because I can even bring it to my personal life where, like, I've dated black girls and I tell them, like, I don't like that bullshit. You feel me? Don't come over here with no fucking wig on your head, or don't do this or that. Like, and they still, like, they'll argue with me. You feel me? Remember, like, even when Campbell Samuels was out and they were talking about, like, natural hair, and I remember this girl I was messing with, she tried to mention to me, like, you know how bitches try to get you in arguments, and she tried to talk to me about Kevin Samuels. She started talking about hair, and I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I don't want that fucking bullshit on your head. You're a fucking black woman. Why are you putting a white woman's hair on your head? And you know me personally, I like when your hair's out. I like when it's natural. So why the fuck?
Natural and nappy, baby. You feel me?
You're telling a bitch that I love you. I like you with your good hair. It turns me on. You feel me? And they're gonna be like, they're gonna argue you down. No,
oh yeah, for sure.
And just say stupid shit to you that you're not supposed to respond to.
First of all, it's like expression. You don't own me.
It's a protective
right. I remember, bro. All right, so real shit, real quick. Like I had a mixed ex. She was black and Puerto Rican, and she had quote unquote good hair. But like, there was one point where she did like the big chop, so she had like long curly hair. But it was like dead because she dyed it a bunch of times being on some stupid shit. So she cut it short or whatever to get like, she was also bisexual and like super into like lesbianism, whatever. Anyway, she cut it short. She did the big chop, and then she instantly regretted it like a month or two later. So what she did was she started putting weave in her hair, and this is actually at a time where I was living with my brother. Me and my brother, we got a 2-bedroom apartment together, but he was traveling, moving around, whatever. So I had the whole crib to myself. So she would come through. I mean, she basically was living with me, but like she was living with me, and like she started putting this weave in her hair. She started getting like,
hold up. You're kind of borging out. I'm wondering, is it my headphones or is it you?
I don't know. Maybe my phone is actually, my headphones are dying and my phone is dying at the same time. So anyway, the point is I'm trying to say is like, yeah, these chicks that they're gonna fight for what they want. They don't care what you want.
Yeah, that's fact. It bothers me that you'll fight against me you can't, like, and they'll try to blame men for like their self-esteem and shit like that. How am I supposed to argue? Like, I'm telling you what I like. You're supposedly my girl, and you're arguing me.
No, it doesn't matter what you like. I don't care what you like. You like this. Like, they'll even try to fight you on what you like, your preferences, and like again with this story or this scenario. She had good hair, quote unquote, but she chose to wear weave and shit at this point. So I would walk through. I had like the popcorn. I had the gray carpet. It's like a apartment complex carpet. So when I would walk, and I would walk barefoot in my crib, I would have to scoop weave out of my fucking toes when this bitch was rocking that shit. I'm just like, yo, like, you don't need to like just rock the shortcut. Oh, you can't tell me what to do, and I like it in this expression. Don't you want like a bitch that can switch it up and blah 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 blah? I'm just like, oh shit, all right. I'm not, because I knew at that time, this is like 2021. I knew better than to argue with a bitch about what she wants to do because it's not gonna lead it.
Hold on a second, because I see if you're in the chat, tell me if if Wavy borging out for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because my shit's dying anyway. So, but yeah, like, bro, one thing about this indoctrination that they're not gonna change. They're not gonna change no matter who you are, no matter how much money you got, whatever.
And since you mentioned the big chop or whatever, I remember the girl I was dealing with shaved her head, and it was just to spite me. I know it was to spite me because I told her not to do it. You feel me? She did a couple things I told her not to do because she had a couple tattoos, and I told her like, "Yo, like, don't get any more tattoos." And she got, I was like, she got another tattoo, and then showed up at my crib. You feel me? I'm like, oh, this is just to show me that you just, it's just whatever I say is just you're not doing it. You're just not fucking with me like that. You feel me? So, and it's straight psychosis. You feel me? I don't think I need to get too deep into it because those who don't believe what I'm saying right now, what we're saying, like they're gonna stay thinking whatever they think, but it's because
I let my girl do it. I let my girl rock, son. You know what I mean? It don't matter. I let my girl rock, son. I ain't one of you controlling ass niggas.
And it's not even just women because now the men are bitches too, and now they're getting into like now you gotta be now you're insane too. Now you're doing 100 peptides, you're doing steroids, you're injecting yourself with peptides, you're getting a nose job like a bitch,
Cavalier type shit.
You're bone smashing because you want to be like a white autist. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're kind of borging out, and we've been here for a while, so I'm just gonna end this shit. You know, you can text me if you want. You can hit me on WhatsApp.
All right, worry, bro, because my shit's dying anyway. It's like 15%. So
yeah, Wavy's cooked. So this is disagreeable. I'm disagreeable. We disagreeable, and this has been a good one. The first half of the show has been good, and second half of the show I kind of just went off. You feel me? I expected to spread this out a bit more, but you know, I don't give a shit. Motherfuckers aren't sending me any goddamn cash apps or anything like that. And let me speak on that for a second before I get out of here. Let me speak on that for 1 second before I get out of here. I used to participate with other people's channels and maybe give a super chat here and there, or maybe give a donation here or there. I stopped doing that a while ago. I don't do that anymore. Why? I don't think I should have to add any type of monetary gain to your channel. For one, I create content. For the fact that I create content, something that you can come and enjoy, and I don't ask anything for it, don't ask me for shit. If you want shit from me, you're not gonna get it. Fuck off and fuck you. This is disagreeable. I'm disagreeable. This has been disagreeable. Out.